Hey,
Hey!
welcome back to Our Sistas Corner,
Well, we're bridging the gap between healing and literature. I'm Kenyatta,
and I'm Diamond. Hey,
and
welcome
we
back
are
to
back
season
for
two.
season two.
Okay, so how are you doing, Kenyatta? You excited to be back?
I'm I'm so excited to be back. I'm feeling good right now. Just excited for everything that's to come. What about you?
I am excited to be back. We fought to get here and we still here. And we're ready to bring the good content for season two. Spooky season. Spooky season. Yeah, so this is our first episode back for season two. We are in a new book. You want to tell them a little bit about the new book that we're in?
Yes. Y'all know we said this year we were being more intentional about reading books by Black male authors. So this month we are reading The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James Mcbride. And
Mhm.
I look forward to talking about this one. We always say that we don't miss, and I feel like this is going to be a really good read.
We do not miss. Always standing on business when it comes to these themes. Actually, we really don't be knowing that we don't miss until we get to read it and we be like, this was the perfect book. So, speaking of the perfect book, our theme this month was greed and capitalism. And we chose this book because, of course, in the synopsis, it talked about how it's a book about the Jewish and African American community back in the 1960s.
60, 70, somewhere
Okay,
around there.
okay,
Yep.
okay. But they are sharing community and are basically helping each other. The Jewish community was a great contributor to the things that the African Americans needed before the Jewish people, quote unquote, became like rich and a part of the American society and stuff like that when they were first coming over. And this book explains a lot about how that foundation and that community how they really helped each other, how they worked hand in hand, and even if they did not share the same values, if they did not see each other in the way that they may have seen themselves, they still were great in their community. So it definitely has been a great read. Great read. I'm ready to talk about this topic that we have today because it's very, very interesting and very informative. We really didn't expect to be as informed as we are from this book.
No, I definitely agree with you. And as you were talking about, just the synopsis of the book and everything, just the community amongst the minorities in America, I think it's easy to put your differences aside when you have a common enemy. When you have a common enemy, it's easy to focus on the
Mhm.
big picture and what's really important. So, yeah, I'm really excited to read this as well. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yes, it definitely is. And we cannot wait to get into this final review. But before we do all of that, we cannot skip over the fact that we had a break. We had a break for 2 months from July and August. So, with that being said, what have you been reading during the break?
Like we said, this was a much needed break.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so excited that we took that break.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
Needed.
had to just come back stronger and better and ready to get deeper into the topics and the books. So
Mm-hmm.
over the break, I actually did not read that much. There is one for the month of August. I know I didn't read that much. I think I read two books.
Okay.
One of the books, it is by this author. I came across a new to me Black author, and her name is Jaquel J.
Mm-hmm.
and the title of the book is From Come Over to Come Home. And
Mm.
I tell you, well, as you know, that the month of August is a really tough month. So I try to read lighter
Right.
things,
Mm-hmm.
gravitate towards, the black romances, the comedies, and things like
Mm.
that.
Come on over to my
Just
side.
as a form of self care.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So so it was refreshing to read that. But yeah, I didn't read much. I don't know, outside exploring, trying to do other things.
Yeah.
I took a cooking class. So I was
Okay.
excited about that. And we both have been, traveling more, so reading hasn't
Outside.
been the pretty much. So, but yes.
Okay, yeah,
What about you?
that sounds good.
What have you been reading?
So, I had to pull on my hoopla, y'all. I had to get into because I got to tell y'all what I've been reading. Of course, I mentioned this in a few of our other episodes. I think I mentioned this series, but I am currently and I have been reading this series by Joanne Fluke, the pastry cookie murder series. I'm
Mm-hmm.
waist deep in there. It's like 30 books. I'm on number 17, 16, 17. So I did read like two of those books. I'm on I
Okay.
just finished the cherry cheesecake murder and the cream puff murder. Um Another series that I have gotten into, child. Sarah J. Moss, y'all. I'm sorry. The critics are true. It's addictive. It's long, and the books are thick. But I have been knee deep, waist deep, neck deep in Sarah J. Maas. I'm really enjoying her books. Her books are a bit of a slow burn. That's not really my. I don't like slow burn books. I'm learning that. But
Uh-huh.
I have been reading her books, and they have been so good. Um, Enjoying all of the characters. Farrah, I'm on your side. Whatever you do, I support you. We ride at dawn for whoever you wanna get. Okay, and I read some other like feel good books as well. Just chose some like romance books. It's one that's called Frequent Flyers. I'm not gonna butcher the author's name. I'm just gonna put it on the screen here. I read that one
Okay.
and it was really good. And the bookshop Sisterhood, which was by Michelle Lindo Rice, and I'm gonna put that on the screen as well. Those two books have been really good. I'm actually not done with the Flyer book, but it's been good so far. But the bookshop Sisterhood book was so good. I said all of that to get to
Okay.
this point. Me and Kenyatta, we actually talked about like the different hurdles that we were going through as we were getting prepared for season two. And I told her that this book was just so affirming about friendship, so reaffirming about friendship and the book club and why we're here and the things that we want to get accomplished, and how even though you can go through many hurdles, each of us have our different lives, our different things that we have going on. We just keep pushing and the goal is going to
Mm-hmm.
get met. And it was such a good read. If I don't recommend anything from what I read from the break, I recommend that book, which is The Bookshop Sisterhood. It was really good. So yeah, that's what I've been reading. It's been keeping me afloat.
You have been reading down. I
Yeah,
love it.
I have to get my mind
Okay.
off of the get your
No,
mind
I
off
think
of
it's
other
always
things. Let me go into my happy place.
okay. I think it's just real refreshing when you can find a series to dive into like that. And you say you're on book number 17. Girl.
Girl,
Okay.
I think it's 17. Don't let me tell y'all no story. Let me check. Hold on.
No, but the fact that it's not 2. The fact that it's not number 3. That's insane.
It may be, oh, is it 8? 9? Girl, I ain't 17, it's 9 and 10. Not me that got 10.
You didn't have to go.
Oh my gosh, I got 20 more books.
It
I'm living
sounds
to
like
finish.
you'll be there before the year's done.
You know what? I really don't want to finish it though. I'm not even gonna hold you. I hate to finish like a good series. I hate to finish it because then it's over.
Yeah. That's why we don't mind rewatching stuff over and over and over. Yeah.
X Files again? Sure, let's do it. What? Have you watched the new show, Sisters? What's that? Oh
Oh,
yes.
that's funny.
So it sounds like our break has been very eventful, fun, some good, some bad, some balance. So that's good to hear that we have been enjoying our time off, but it's time to get back to Our Sistas Corner podcast. So, with that being said, let's move along to our new segment that we are creating. Questions that need answers. What we're gonna do, like questions about each other or questions that you guys would want to send in, and then me and Kenyatta are getting to our questions. All right. Okie dokie. Did
Okay.
you want to start? And y'all, I'm looking up at my notes because I know y'all gonna see me looking up. I'm looking up at my notes. We'll talk about that at another time. I'm looking up at my
Okay. I'm really excited about this segment today, but
notes.
you made it sound so general, so I don't know how to feel about it in the future because I know how we can get. So to start it off, it's book related.
Mm-hmm.
So what book character reminds you of one of your best friends?
Mm. Mm. Man, I should did a little research. What? Okay. So if I had to pick somebody off the top of my head, mm, I see you know I'm not good with names, so this we should have chose this question first.
Okay.
But I do have a character in mind. I'm just trying to think of her name. But you haven't read this book though. This reminds me of what's so ironic, the bookshop sisterhood. There is a character in the book who is like she's like the be all do all mom and friend, and she's the person that is like there for all her friends. She's there for her man. Actually, roll that back, because I just mixed two people. This character, she is there for her man, there for her business. Like everything that she does is like 10/10. She is actually in finance. I'm gonna put the character's name on the screen, y'all, in the book.
Okay.
I can't think of the name right now. But she's in finance, and her husband, what that man did? It don't even matter. She's in finance and her husband works some other job, but they end up going through like this big situation where they were actually like carjacked. It's really traumatic, but we're not talking about the traumatic part. Her as a person, like she was the friend who was always there for all her friends and there for her man. She was the best in her field when it came to finance and tech. And she was just the call on person and the person who was just good and organized, and until she had her big thing that happened in her life that kind of threw her off her swivel, but then she figured out how to get past it, goes to therapy, da da da. That character reminded me of you. just how she was as a person. And even though she went through a hard patch and she avoided the healing, that's not really you though. You didn't really avoid it. But she ended
So
up
I
getting back on
read
her
it.
swivel and it all worked out. And it all worked out. And it all worked out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was such a bad explanation. Oh Jesus. But that's
No.
not
So
her type
now
of
you
reader.
I don't think so because now I want to read the book. So you definitely have to give me the details so I can go check it out. Because when I read, I always think about who the characters remind me of, and I become a part of their world. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole production in my head. So I get it.
Girl. So what's your
Hmm.
answer? What character do you think reminds you of a friend? Of a best friend? Which book character reminds you of a best friend? That's a hard question.
How did I ask you and not prepare myself?
Girl, you told me it was this or that questions. I'm like, what the hell? That was
It's a combination. So it's just a combination of everything.
it. Okay.
So okay, so I knew this answer to be real with you because I thought about it when I first read the book. But in the book This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan, you know, that's my girl.
Mm-hmm.
But in the book by Kennedy Ryan, This Could Be Us, Soledad, she is she's a mom, she's a great friend, and
I need to read that.
she
I keep saying I need to read that.
you'll come across it when you're ready. She's just an all around good person. Like she handles business. She is a great mom. She's a great friend. She is even a great wife. And things take a turn where she is then put in position to either fold under pressure or rise to the occasion. And she it's beautiful to witness her come up and just to see her love story. And she's really a lover girl. She is
Mm.
really in touch with her emotions. She is very passionate about motherhood and taking care of her kids. Like they are top priorities. Is high priority for her to make sure her girls, well, she has daughters, but make sure her children are their best selves. She just does a great job at everything. So to see her witness a setback, it was hard to watch, but to see her come up and meet the man of her dreams and rewrite her story, it was just so beautiful to watch. And look, I said watch because I really have a production in my head, but it was just so beautiful to witness. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's who you remind me of, Soledad.
I be thinking she talking about jazz. I'm gonna say that sounds just like
I
that.
told you,
As you was
y'all,
reading, I
you
was
and
like, dang, she sounds like she talking just about jazz. She said so many great things about what she be going through. I'm gonna say, yes, she talking about jazz.
I told you, y'all are my friends that are the younger sister, and y'all are so similar. It is really scary how y'all really the same
Check
person in
in.
a lot of ways. Y'all are the
Need some
same person.
chaos. Check in. We we
Both of
set it up.
y'all are front of line, leading the pack. But yes, yes.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm definitely gotta read it. You talked so much positive things about this book and in this series. I definitely have to read it. I
These
don't know
are our
if I'm ready to
homegirls.
read
I'm
it.
telling you, like we're flying East Coast to go visit them because they are real characters.
Mm.
Okay.
Was I picking
Do we
a
want to do
question?
another question?
Yeah, we can do another question. Let me see. Let me see. Would you rather we debate over a book's ending or agree 100% on the plot?
Definitely debate over the book's ending. Because I think we always get like a different perspective of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's good. I feel like you and I agree on a lot of things, but definitely debate over the book, over the book's ending.
Mm.
What about you?
Um, I think
And I think it depends on what we're reading.
I was just gonna say because I would say agree 100% on the plot because a lot of times it's kind of like I agree because a lot of times we agree on the plot, but how it play out.
How we got there is completely different. Yeah.
Because in my mind, we could have took the high road. We ain't have to take that one. We could have went the long route. So yeah, I like to agree 100% on the plot. Cause boy,
Okay.
girls,
Yeah.
that depends.
Yeah, it definitely depends on what we're reading.
I do not. I don't agree. The ending.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
I really hope to be surprised by the ending of that.
Yeah.
The beginning of the next, I hope is a happy surprise.
To this day, still not over. That's why I ain't cracked the other one because if it don't start with the sister being alive again, closes first
Close the
chapter.
book.
I'm good on whatever you got to say. No shade. No shade. You broke
Mm-hmm.
my heart. Okay, that I like that segment. Okay, I do like it being bookish. Just keeping it bookish. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. I think that gives, it gives you guys a chance to just know more about us and just the way we think about
Mm-hmm.
things because although we have a lot of similarities, we actually are very different when it comes to what we like to read and our reading styles and just everything. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
How we choose and what we gravitate towards for fun or for comfort or to disassociate. Just different. We do approach. Well, most people do approach it differently, but we do approach things a lot of in different ways. So yeah. Okay, I like those. Okay, you guys. So we will be navigating on to our main segment for today. Of course, you guys know for our social hour episode, we do talk about a main topic for each social hour episode that aligns with our theme. As I said at the beginning, our theme for this month was greed and capitalism. So
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about how greed and capitalism plays a role in our community in different subject matter. So me and Kenyatta have a subject and we're gonna break those subjects down into different points. And we're basically gonna just have a little conversation about how we see greed and capitalism taking an effect on our community. And also some of it is pulled from the book. We do recommend that you guys get a copy of the Heaven and Earth grocery store. It is a great read. We are enjoying it right now. And we thank you, James McBride, for writing this book. It was definitely a great read. I said his name right, didn't I?
Yes, we're getting much better.
It be growing. Yeah, I don't remember names. Sorry. Try to my brain, not my heart. But anywho, moving on. Okay, so yeah, we can go ahead and jump into it. And you can start us off with the main point, starting from your subject matters, and then we can kind of like let the conversation flow, and we'll hit all the points. You guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We thank you so much for viewing our video this far on YouTube, or if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms. Do not forget to subscribe, join the Our Sistas Corner tribe, and leave a comment below on what you liked about this video so far. And let's get into the subject.
Okay, so I really think just starting with this book, Greed and Capitalism,
Mm-hmm.
is the perfect topic because it is just so aligned with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and greed and capitalism play a role. Is it plays a huge negative role in just the marginalization of minority communities.
Mm-hmm.
Just starting the book and just seeing some of the characters and what they prioritize and how they have broken moral compasses. Um, a lot of them desire profit over the well being of the entire community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the characters is into the development of the city. So the even though the book
Mm-hmm.
is set in the 70s and they talk about, past events that happened in the 30s, what is happening in the book is still prevalent in our society today.
Today.
Um
Mm-hmm.
yes, just the access to public resources and trying to privatize the public resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see in our city, our state, there are struggles with waste management and there are struggles with the water system as well. So it's crazy to see it still be relevant 60, 70, 80 years in
Mm-hmm.
time.
And that's crazy because that's literally one of the issues that they were having in the book was, the African American and the Jewish community, the neighborhood that they were in, they didn't have running water. And that was something that was being withheld from them due to the system. At the time, racism, white people being in control and just keeping that resource from them, along with just limiting how they could grow as a community. And of course they had to work together. The African Americans and the Jewish, they had to work together in different ways to even acquire that type of resource.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it required them to, normally they wouldn't have any connection or communication outside of the black community shopping in the Jewish store.
Mm-hmm.
So, just seeing how they have to work together to achieve a common goal is definitely something.
Yeah, and it definitely shows that when um two sets of people or a group of people are in a situation where they have a need and they need to work together to get it, that's when our differences can be put to the side. I think that in a way too, we can also see that in like the political realm in the world, in the United States right now. A lot of us, like, if you want to choose a side, whether you're blue, you're red, you're white, or whoever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us are starting to wake up and realize, like, does the parties even really matter? We should have common goals to have basic good health care, to have access to, good jobs and not just African American jobs, and just all of these things that fall under the diaspora of needs of a common person. We should all have access to it. It's unfortunate we have to get to a point where we're suffering to come to a common goal, but that definitely shows in the book. If you and another community are marginalized, that's when it becomes a problem for us. But if it's just my problem, you don't really care about it. And that was another thing, like you said, it just showed that if the problem doesn't touch you, if you don't care about the common man as a person, you really most likely won't care about their problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we
And it's
know we
not,
see that in
yeah,
so many ways in today's age. Just being African American in general, most people don't, they don't care. But
which is so
what?
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another negative when it comes to just how I was thinking about how the book relates to modern day is like the prison industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
Just reading the book and seeing how the mental institution kind of reminds me of prison because these
Mm-hmm.
people are mistreated, they are abused and just not taken care of, and
Mm-hmm.
it is just an incentive for people to go to jail because the jail's being privatized and the state making money on filling the jails up. So it's just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the similarities were really scary when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Because
Because
it's really
if
like a business.
my yes, and if my well being isn't important,
Yeah. Yeah.
just as a person, as a human, um, it's just greed is just taking. I don't know. Greed is just an evil blackness that just takes over everything.
Yeah,
And some
because
people are so greedy, you're not even you're no longer human at this point.
hmm yeah, and when you get to a point where you disassociate from the value of a human and you don't have empathy, compassion, and you lose that sense of awareness with connecting with the common man, and you just see the dollar signs, then you lose that ability to even really care about how your decisions affect other people, because we see so much in today's age, like when there's an opportunity for a certain group of people to make money off of the harm and the neglect of another person, they go for it without a second thought. Like they just jump right into it to rob you of all your resources, jump right into it to rob you of your freedom, as long as their side of the street is flourishing. And unfortunately, we can talk black and blue about what the solutions are, but it comes down to us finding the humanity back in people, like people going through humanity again. I've talked about what I think would help the world in that way. We ain't gonna get into it, but it's just unfortunate that there is no one big solution. You know what I'm saying? There is no one big solution to help greed. It's a disease at this point. We're even saying it to the point of, and I'm gonna give you like a plain example when it comes to like greed in our society. These digital products, like girl, we all can't sell digital products. We all can't, like, dang, we all can't sell each other a digital product on what we know. It's just so much of knowing. Because if the
Yeah.
product become the product and I'm the product and you rich off the product, then what's the product? I'm tired of hearing it.
I get you. I
And
get you.
I feel like it becomes a finesse, and at the same time, it's like, if you really think about how in our society now, the consumer mindset, the greed makes you not even care about how you get to the point of getting to the money. You know what I'm saying? And I think there should
Yeah.
be some type of character and some type of discernment. Like, okay, I ain't gonna finesse these people out. I ain't gonna keep. I'm taking it too far, and this just
That
doesn't
goes to
exist.
having No, I get you and I agree. And I think that just goes back to having a strong foundation and knowing who you are to your core, and having morals and values and integrity. And I don't think that is not a priority to everybody. I know
Mm-hmm.
it is a priority to us. So if we did sell a digital product, I would want to make sure that it makes sense, and not
Yeah,
just saying that not just saying that we would just throwing something out there just to do it, but to provide value, to help
yeah,
our community, to be to be intentional about the well-being of the people in our community and not just throwing something down their throats to make a dollar.
Yeah. So if we
So,
did sell you a digital product, it got value. I ain't saying don't
and it's
sell
from
us
the
a product
heart.
because we might. We might.
Well, I just think it is just important to us to provide value, and I think that
Yeah.
goes back to a part of something that we kind of struggle with, like wanting to make sure that what we're saying is worth saying.
It's edifying to the
Um,
people.
yes,
Yeah.
we are in the podcast bros age, and there's a lot of nothing being said, and we don't
Blue
want to be
pill,
in that
red pill.
number.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
I
oh,
think that
one
that
more point that
oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
no, this one more point I thought about, and this just goes along with everything that we were saying, how greed and capitalism affects everything. And we kind of already touched on this, but gentrification.
Mm.
And we see that happening in all major cities, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Just the real estate and how things are now. People are being pushed out of their homes and giving pennies on the dollar for their homes for the land to look completely different. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, raising the property values and raising the prices of everything, and
Mm-hmm.
just creating
Pushing.
a space for these families to be displaced is just, it's sickening.
Yeah. But you know what? That's like I tell all this time because that's how we got here. Well, that's how they say we got here. Um, went from the Mayflower, just coming over, and because how can you discover a land that people live on? That's like me coming to your house and saying, "Oh, I discovered a house," and you like, "Well, hey, I live here." You like,
You discovered a house that already got lights and heat, and the field is well taken care of. Everything is well groomed. The people good.
I just think that it's something so important to understand coming into someone else's community, um, land, house, organization, heck, friendship, whatever it is, relationship, just because you come into a place and you see how something can be changed and you have a what you think is a better way of doing something does not make your better way the only way or right. A lot of times the best thing to do when coming into a place that something is already there and established, seeing how you can add value or pour into that place. Unfortunately, gentrification, as we see, these people are coming into these places that already have established communities, history. They already have established value, like they already have established communities that may just need the resources to update, may just need the resources to improve what they already have there, but instead those things are being completely erased and replaced with what you think is better, and then you're telling those people that they don't belong where they're from.
Yes.
And that's
Just because you
absolutely
don't see the value doesn't mean that the value isn't there.
true. True. And just because you put a new definition on what value is does not make your value the superior definition of value. Because sometimes your value
What
can be toxic, thieving, evil.
yes. What look, what Sizzle's grandma say? Just cause you having a bad day, don't go ruin nobody else's.
Hmm, baby. Well, Auntie Tab got it from and stepped on. You black heifer, you, baby. Girl. I
Okay.
believe that in as we talked about just recently, there is no one solution to getting um the African American community back into what we would think to be a wealthier standpoint in our community. There is no one solution because we have different problems, and those different problems stem from different things. But these are just the points that I think would help us get back to a better um, wealth and better wealthy, and our generational values to be raised as far as like us having wealth, access to better materials, access to better experiences, and just changing this narrative about the African American community being poor, being toxic, being ghetto, the things that are like broadcast in public society and on TV and stuff like that, those stereotypes from
Mhm.
movies. Not gonna say his name, but moving on. Um, so the first subject that I had was well, my overall theme is that I believe that we can heal in the places that we were broken. And all of these places that we talked about as far as like the wealth dispersity and stuff like that, I believe that one of the main reasons that we have that issue is distrust amongst the Black community. Um, One thing that we see in all of the different ethnicities and the different races and stuff like that, they have a certain type of unity where they pour into each other. They have a certain type of unity where even though they do, in some cases, because it's looking slim when you really look at the numbers, how they pour wealth into other communities and pour wealth into other races, but most of them keep their wealth within their race. And I think that in the African American community, we don't have a core value to pour wealth into each other. And the distrust amongst our community is, I think it stems from we don't want to see the next person doing better than we're doing. I feel like we all have like this kind of subconscious belief that we all don't deserve to be wealthy. Like we have like a certain type of definition of who deserves to be wealthy and how they deserve to be wealthy, and when you get wealthy or when you get a little access, where the access supposed to go. And it's like it's not this
Mhm.
understanding that when I get up, I'm going to create pathways for the people in my community to get access to this wealth as well, or access to these gems and resources to improve their families, wealth dispersities or wealth issues. So I think that we really have to work on the trust within our community with helping one another. I think that that is one of the solutions that we can do, and stop picking and choosing who we think deserves to be helped. We all do.
No, I definitely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think about how we say this all the time. Being in like-minded communities around like-minded people. Because unfortunately you cannot bring everybody with you. Like I
No.
can't force a certain mindset or certain lifestyle on my family, even if I know that this is best the best option possible for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go where go where you can receive that help, go where you can thrive, and actively seek those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it'll be more difficult that way, to be honest with you. But the alternative would be nothing happening,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which is so unfortunate, though.
It
Um,
is.
which is so unfortunate.
Yeah, and um we definitely do have to go into the places that don't look like us to get some of these resources. Unfortunately, and when we get there, it's kind of like they say, you work twice as hard, well, thrice as hard to get just the same, amount as the person who doesn't look like you, and that's unfortunate as well. But I think that when we get into those places and we make those advancements, we still should keep the gates open for that information to be thrown back and for that access to be thrown back. Like you said, I do agree. You can't change someone's mindset. You can't convince somebody the error of their ways or show them how their everyday decisions set them up for their future. You know what I'm saying? Whatever future that you're, well, whatever reality that you're living right now is connected to a past decision that you just made thinking that it wasn't going to make a big difference, and it does. And unfortunately, we aren't able
Mm-hmm.
to convince people that that's the right thing. Um, yeah, I think that point leads me to my second bullet point where I talked about the disconnect in our family unit. So when we talk about mindset and we talk about us having like a understanding of what's best, I want to piggyback that with the point that I made earlier from your subjects. I don't believe that you can go into someone's space, and I think that's even with family and friends, and tell them how to do something your way and expect it to be viewed as the right way. Because we can't say other communities can't come into our place and tell us what to do and change and think that, like gentrification is better. I can't come into your house and tell you how to raise your kids, how to, eat your food, how to whatever. If you feel like this is
Mm-hmm.
what's best for you, then I'm going to have to let you go with what you think is what's best for you. I think that in
Yeah.
the family structures today, we have to work better on the ones who want to do this. Communication to understand, not bash, not blame, not villainize, but communication to just spread the information to letting someone know, look, this decision that you're making, this caused me harm in this type of way, and it hurt me in this
Mm-hmm.
type of way. And that's what the disconnect happened. That's where I felt like we grew apart. That's why I felt like, we weren't seeing eye to eye, or we couldn't move forward from this point. Um, just putting it out there, giving other people an opportunity to grow with you, grow from situations. It's so funny that we're talking about this. It makes me think about the therapist Kitty. I told you I started following her on social media. She talked about how you can't tell somebody how to um apologize, and how you can orchestrate your forgiveness from them for them. That's just something that you're trying to control. You're gonna have to do
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness for you, and then you're going to have to clarify, if you can, to that person how they hurt you. But sometimes people can apologize and give you whatever explanation they want to give you. It doesn't change your experience. And I think that happens in our Black community. Like, sometimes we need to just voice our experience and choose to heal on our own from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that that's something that needs
Okay.
to happen within the Black community on the levels that make sense for your family, because we have a great disconnect in the Black families, where you don't want your sister who graduated to do better than you, so you doing this, you scamming, you da 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 to make sure that you look better than her, or you don't want to, what I'm saying? It's like this inner competition in some ways in our family and our communities, and we just need to find like solutions for that. Things need to be addressed. They need to be out in the open for us to move forward and heal.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I get you. That is such a survival mindset though.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that I have the mindset that if I'm on, I feel like we're all on. We all bring something to the table that could help the next person advance to the levels that they wish to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, like you said, it's going to take some work and some acknowledgement to get there, but I do think it's possible.
Yeah.
Hella work.
Yeah. But I think that's what
Oh,
and what we're learning. That's what relationships is the work never stops. It never stops.
You right.
And I think that I
You
would
right
rather
about
us be
that.
working towards a different.
I think it's worth it though.
I would rather us be intentional about the work to get
I
to
think it's
a
worth it.
more positive ending and a more positive experience than we're having right now. But, I don't know. We can only take this thing one day at a time, and we can only do what we can to bridge the gap between literature and healing and make sure somebody hear us and take it home to their people.
I think those were some really good points. Did you have any other points that you wanted to make on this?
Well, yeah, my last point was, and really this is a synopsis of what and I think we both kind of touched on the negatives and a few solutions to how we can do this. My last point was us being intentional about rebuilding Black wealth. Um, as a lot of your points pointed out, there are so many situations that marginalize the wealth within this world to cut Black people out, to cut African American people out, to cut people of color out. I can't even just say African American people. Cut people of color out, and we need to be intentional about rebuilding wealth within people of color's communities. We can say, oh, well, we don't want it to be about race, we don't want it to be about color, but it is. These other spaces will invite people from their own spaces who are underqualified, not qualified, and not experienced to a table that they know you're a perfect fit at because you don't look like them. And they will cut you out the deal or cut you out the opportunity or completely disrupt or cancel your opportunity that you may have created if they can to cut you out of the wealth table. It is happening every day. And we have seen from history, it makes me think of Black Wall Street and just different things in history that we see. It's not even 100 years ago. This is like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where things were done towards the people of color's communities that were built and thrived on the Black dollar. And they were burned to the ground because other communities were not included. Now, I ain't saying burn it to the ground. That ain't what I said. I just said we need to be intentional about seeing what is hurting our community, seeing what is cutting our community out, what's killing our community, making our community sick, making our community toxic, making our community just all the things that are negatively affecting our community and not moving us forward. Because if it's not moving us forward, it's moving us back on or on out the way. And I think that we should be more intentional in our communities about where we want to see it go and what we want to see included. And anybody that goes against that is against us. Period.
Yes, for real. Yes, I completely agree. And I like that you said that because there is no one solution to it. There are a lot of ways to get there. Like you just said, investing in our future generations and our future development, prioritizing education, financial education and literacy. Once we get to a certain level, investing and giving back, and even things such as group economics, putting our money together and moving as a unit.
Moving from the consumer to the actual seller rather than the buyers all the time. So definitely getting into these spaces, and unfortunately with greed and capitalism, as we go back to the main topic, it's hard to do that when people that look like you get into these spaces and decide to not, in fact, include people that look like them, to go ahead and side with people that don't look like them, to keep themselves in these spaces, so nobody else can have a piece of the wealth. Um, it's unfortunate. I seen a video just the other day about a particular person who's a billionaire, and they make a product and they don't have the traditional structure that they would have within their production to include other people to make money, because they want to keep all the money for themselves. um I really don't want to give the person's name. I don't want no smoke, but it just shows how
You gonna have to run that back.
huh.
Go ahead to talk on the side. The
Okay,
sidebar.
yeah, we're gonna get into it, but I just think that it's unfortunate that that happens within our community, and in those situations, we need to be intentional and pay attention to people who do that. I mean, of course, what's that saying? Everybody that's
What's
skin,
what?
everybody that's skin.
All skin folk ain't kin folk.
Listen, all skin folk ain't kin folk. And when we see that that's happening, maybe we need to pull back from those particular people that rallied the community for support, rallied the community for their dollars, but then turn their back on the community. And that's just not what we want. We definitely don't want to add to the problem, and we want to always lean towards the solutions. Um, and that's just my take on it all. Did you have anything else you wanted to include on the subject?
No, I actually think this has been a great conversation.
Mhm.
We touched a lot of points.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay,
I
okay.
just look forward to just what's to come with the book. If this is just the social hour and we are getting on our political soapboxes, I don't know what the month is gonna look like.
Because I got some things to say. But yeah, like we said, we are reading the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. We thank you guys for tuning into this part of the segment. We aren't done yet. We aren't done yet, but we do want to let you know that we are reading this book this month. If you want to jump on the bandwagon, it's still time. If you're seeing this on the 11th, 12th,
Yes.
13th, whatever, it's still time to read with us. Our final review does not go up until the 25th. We will have some times that we go live on all of our social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and
Yes.
YouTube. And then we're gonna do like little mini discussions about it, and also you can engage with some of our posts on our social media about the book. We are really enjoying this book. It's so informative. Even though it's set in the past, it is still holding a mirror up to the future. So we do hope that you join us. And with that
Yes.
being said, we're gonna move into our next segment, which is the butterfly letter submissions. Take it away, Kenyatta.
Yes. Okay, welcome to the Butterfly Letters. This is a segment where we take time to celebrate special people who have made a positive impact in our lives. Each week, we'll highlight someone who has uplifted, inspired, supported us, and we just want to extend that same opportunity to you guys, our listeners. Um,
Oh, I'm just your
so,
hype.
huh?
I'm just your hype man. I ain't got that.
Oh, okay. So you know that we always say that a butterfly cannot see its own wings, and that's why they do so well in community. They have people or other creatures around them to just let them know how beautiful they are, how wonderful they are, and how valuable they are in this society and in this community. And that is what the butterfly letter segment is all about. So, if there is someone in your life who deserves recognition, whether it's a family member, a friend, a homegirl, a mentor, or even just, your favorite local barista, someone who just offered a kind gesture to you, we would love to hear about it. Send in your submissions at the link below. We will have the email down below so you guys can send in your butterfly letter submissions. yeah, we look forward to featuring them on the show. We are super intentional about healing and being on this healing journey. And we love spreading love and appreciation together. So, yeah, we can't wait to hear your submissions. This has really been a great episode. I think we have touched a lot of points on this book. We really think you guys should go check out the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride
Yes.
and read along with us. Like Diamond said, the final review will be at the end of the month, so you guys will have plenty of time to join in and share your thoughts with us because, as you can see, we had a lot to say. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about how greed and capitalism negatively affects minority communities and just changes that we think would help improve these conditions with these communities.
You can develop your point as well, and we would love to hear your take on this episode or anything that we talked about. If you don't desire to read the book, that's what our podcast is here for. Leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you. Okay? Meet me
Yes.
there.